Hello, and welcome to the Monday MOOcast. We are up to episode 14, and as always, well, except for the last time when I wasn't here, I am Mike O'Mara.
Greg Over.
Andrew Vsop.
And we have a special guest.
Marty Altmans.
Hey, Marty, welcome to the show. Never mind. As always, we're going to start with what we played this week. Andrea, what have you been playing this week?
A lot of Saints Row. I've been, okay, so there are a lot of collectibles in the game, and you can gather the collectibles to get an achievement, which I like. I like finding things.
Sure.
And because now I'm getting filthy rich in the game, I have a lot of extra cash. So it's one of the upgrades you can get is that you can have the game show you where all the collectibles are on the map.
Nice.
For, $50,000. I'm like, okay, cool. I got that. So then, I didn't realize it right away, but I was cruising around, driving around, and you have a little mini-map in the lower left-hand corner.
Right.
So it'll show you where things are. And when I would get close to a collectible, it would pop up on the little mini-map. So I'm like, okay, cool, it's right over there. And that's what I thought was the perk. So it took me a while, I just realized this a couple days ago, that if you go on the world map, you can select, just show me, properties I own, and there's a collectibles category.
Right.
Gotta be kidding me. I'm doing this the hard way. So, I went on a quest to find all the collectibles, and the game is really mean because there are a bunch of them on top of buildings, so I need a helicopter to get them.
Right.
So I have a few left to find, which is frustrating because I'm so close to being done. I find it on the map. I'm like, okay, there's the collectible. Mm-hmm. I'm right on it, but I look up, I look down, I look left and right. It's not there.
Right.
And I don't know. So I don't know if anybody who plays Saints Row has run into that, because it's on the map, I'm right there, and I can't find it.
Right.
So it's really frustrating me.
So it's giving you the, I don't know if you ever played Crackdown, but it's giving you, the Crackdown vibe. Have you ever played Crackdown?
No, I haven't.
You ever played Crackdown?
Oh.
Yeah, so, yeah, but like trying to find all those stupid orbs are everywhere.
Sure.
Oh my god, make you crazy. Andrea, you've been playing Saints Row III for a couple of weeks now, yeah?
Yeah.
How's your delight level in Saints Row? Is it still pretty high? Are you still having lots of fun
definitely.
with it? Really?
Yeah, I actually this week I just went back to the campaign. I've been taking my sweet time with the campaign, just because I like to do a lot of the side stuff, like finding the collectibles. And there are also a list of random challenges you have to do for points. Actually, if you do all, I think it's 41 challenges, you get an achievement. So naturally, I want to do all of those.
Sure.
They're very doable. It's just time consuming. Right. So I'm doing those.
But you've had a steady stream of enjoyment from Saints Row III. You recommend?
Oh yeah, I really do. I recommend it.
Have you tried the co-op at all with anyone?
No, and I want to.
Because you can do the whole campaign co-op, right?
Yeah, and I haven't tried it yet, and I really, really want to. So somebody buy Saints Row and we play.
I believe I have it.
You do?
Yeah. The third.
You have the third one?
Yeah.
Oh my god, let's play.
Okay, we should.
Yay!
Greg, what have you been playing?
Well, before I get to what I've been playing, I forgot to mention what you're going to be seeing this week. So, on the screen, you'll have footage from me. It'll be a little bit of Crisis 2 campaign,
all right,
which I just went through this week. And you can see some really bad sniping on my end.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And then after that, you're going to see a little bit of Rayman Origins.
One of your favorite games from last year.
I love that game, so I thought I'd show you all a little bit. Hopefully you enjoy it. And finally, at the end, you're going to see a little bit of Dead Space. Mainly because I couldn't get a good Call of Duty game. So,
Well, I'm excited about that because I know you guys talk all about Dead Space all the time. And I've never seen any game.
Oh, first one's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I hope you enjoy. Please, if you can, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this gameplay, or if you want to see some more traditional, Call of Duty stuff. So let me know. But anyways, yes, I went through Crisis 2 this week. And it was good, but it didn't have that wow factor.
Really?
I don't know. I love the mechanics. I love the suit. That voice of the suit is amazing.
Yeah.
Super suit.
But just
good girl.
Yeah.
Something about just the way the game was laid out. I didn't play the first one, so I felt kind of lost in terms of the story. The enemies weren't really unique either. Like, I thought the best part of the game was the aliens.
Yeah.
And they really didn't evolve very much. Like, once you first saw them, that was kind of it. There might be more armored ones that they would see, but the tactics, like, it's the same. Nothing new ever showed up.
Well, besides aliens.
Right, but like, they show up in, what, the third level maybe? And so it's like, you know, there's really nothing new to come out of it. But I definitely recommend it. It's a gorgeous game, and like I said, the mechanics are sound, the controls are great. So if you haven't played it, you should do that. I also finished Ocarina of Time again, and it was still amazing. I still enjoyed it. So you should totally do that and play that game over Skyward Sword, because it's way better than Skyward Sword, in my humble opinion. Other than that, Andrea and I and Marty, and Brian Stone.
Brian Stone!
We attempted a Shangri-La Easter egg on Black Ops Zombies last night.
How'd it go?
It didn't.
Oh.
Actually, they were pretty good runs. We hit a point where everything would fall apart. But
mostly with the napalm zombie.
Yeah, that stupid napalm zombie.
Well, we have practice now, so in theory, it should get easier every time.
Right.
So hopefully,
it's like riding a bike.
Yeah, next day or two, maybe we can try again and do that.
Right.
So, what about you, Mike?
Oh man, I've been digging my heels back into Red Dead Redemption. I've forgotten how much I like that game. I really, really, really do like it. I was trolling the Rockstar Games board, as I do, because I'm a huge fan of Max Payne 3, and I wanted to see what they've been up to, and they posted that they were going to put on a Labor Day weekend triple XP on Red Dead Redemption. And because I missed the last couple of ones that they did, I decided to fire it up this time. And I actually surprised myself with how much I still enjoyed the game, and I wanted to keep playing. I played a lot of multiplayer this week to kind of rank up, because I've been stuck at around rank 30 for about half a year now because I haven't played the game. So I got a couple ranks, and I had tons of fun. I just wish that more people were still on the multiplayer, because I really, really do enjoy it, and I find it awesome that it's one of the only Western games you can really play. I kind of get sick of having the same kind of weapons in the same games over and over and over again. So it was cool to go back to Winchesters and revolvers and stuff like that. So I had a lot of fun with that, and I've been playing. I've also been getting back into Dead Island, which is an awesome zombie game. I can't believe how much time I let go by since the last time I let that one spin in the old disk drive, but it is fantastic. If you don't know out there, Dead Island is a mostly melee combat open world zombie game, which takes place on a resort island that's been completely wiped out by the zombie apocalypse, and it is gory, and it is super fun. So I've been playing mostly those two games. I'm looking forward to, in the next couple of weeks, getting Borderlands 2, but that's upcoming. So that's what we've been playing this week. Let's talk a little bit of complaining, because it wouldn't be a Monday MOOcast if we didn't either complain ourselves or talk about complaining going on in the industry. And this last week, we talked a little bit on this show about Spec Ops: The Line. It's a pretty unique take on a military shooter that tries to get kind of into the head of soldiers faced with making really tough decisions. I own the game. I haven't finished it quite yet, but I'm going through the campaign, and it is really unique and kind of heart-wrenching at points, actually. But this last week, the creative director of Jaeger Entertainment, they're the people who actually developed the game, came out against 2K, who are as we all know, huge publisher of the game, and they said that they really, really, really did not want to put multiplayer in Spec Ops, but 2K kind of made them shoehorn it in so that it would sell more copies. And if any of you out there have played Spec Ops: The Line and have tried the multiplayer, you'll know that it's a really jarring change of pace, because the main single player story is so gut-wrenching, horrible, filled with all this emotion, but then you get into this third-player shooter multiplayer, and suddenly everyone's gung-ho and has no problem blowing each other away and taunting each other like most shooters. So, anyways, the creative director came out in public and said they never should have done it, and that 2K ruined the game because people will have this culture shock when they go between the single player and multiplayer. And of course, he also referenced the fact that no one plays it anymore after about a week after the game was out, like most games, because everyone goes back to the multiplayer standbys like Call of Duty or Battlefield. So I don't know. I thought that would be a good discussion for us to have. Like, what games do you guys think have been kind of ruined by multiplayer, or kind of maybe not ruined, but the development time has been wasted on shoehorning other things in? So, Greg, why don't we start with you?
I mean, most recently, I would say Mass Effect 3.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a solid multiplayer, but you go to play Mass Effect for the story.
Right.
You don't go for the multiplayer. And I don't know, it's just a waste of, like you said, a waste of development time, a waste of resources.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have yet to play it, so I could be speaking out of ignorance, but BioShock 2 also had multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that was a solid game from what I've heard.
Yeah, it was.
But I can't help but think maybe it could have been all that we wanted it to be,
right,
if multiplayer wasn't in that game. Because honestly, and maybe you are, and I apologize if you are, but I don't really see a lot of people logging on to BioShock 2 multiplayer.
No one anymore. No one.
So, yeah, I think that's kind of a shame, personally. I don't know, do you have any thoughts on that, Andrea? I can't think of any other ones, but...
I agree with you about Mass Effect. I'm not familiar with the BioShock series, but yeah, Mass Effect, I'm sure I mentioned this before, but I didn't get into it until much later, so I actually played all 3 games back to back in a row. And, sure, 1 and 2 didn't have multiplayer, but of course when I got to 3, I played the campaign first, and the multiplayer was kind of yeah, whatever. I mean... Yeah. I haven't played it in a really long time. I didn't really get into it that much, even when it was there, just because I really dislike the random lottery aspect of all the weapons and things you can get. I just did not like that.
Right.
But that's a whole other issue altogether. As far as games that I think could have been better, let's see. Well, I feel like I should speak for Call of Duty because I love those games. The campaigns were... okay, I played through them, but, I mean, I really just played it for the multiplayer. But then, if Call of Duty didn't have the campaign, then there'd be no soap, and then I'd be sad.
Oh, God, here we go again.
God.
So, all in all, I really think, I mean, even to this day, I play Call of Duty because of the multiplayer.
Right.
I've only gone back to do the campaigns to attempt the veteran achievements. Sure. Which, with Black Ops, it's just too scary. I haven't done that yet. It's just too frustrating.
It is.
So, yeah, that's that.
I mean, I think that you can kind of go either way with this. I think Assassin's Creed, I don't know why it has multiplayer at all. Mm-hmm. It's such a, being an assassin is a singular... it's a singular profession, right?
It's not a team effort.
Right. It seems silly to me. The whole deal is no one should know who you are. That's how you are an effective assassin. Uh-huh. So, why would you go advertise it and then, have a whole team and, be public about it? Then everyone knows who you are. That doesn't make any sense. That's like having Batman as, a club. Let's just have a Batman club. We'll all be Batman. No! No one's supposed to know your identity. So that doesn't make any sense, and I think the proof is in the pudding, because no one plays it. No one plays it at all. You guys already mentioned BioShock. I think the other thing, the other way it can be said about Call of Duty and Battlefield. Obviously, the entire world plays Call of Duty multiplayer, and the other part of the world that's trying to just be difficult is playing Battlefield at the same time. I think if they came out with a Battlefield or a Call of Duty that was just stripped down to the multiplayer, and the multiplayer was completely everything that the team was working on all the time, to fix all the bugs, to bring out new weapons all the time, to bring out new modes all the time, and they priced it a little bit cheaper, I would think that would be even a better deal than what we've currently got. I would easily pay $40 a couple times a year for that, versus paying $60 like once a year for Call of Duty, because like honestly, I'll play the campaign the first couple of days because I just want to see what it's all about and because it's on the disc, but I don't need it. Like if Call of Duty went right to multiplayer, I would be like, cool, let's do it. You know, same thing with Battlefield. In fact, Battlefield started on my computer as nothing but multiplayer, and it's still going strong. Like there's still thousands of people on Battlefield 1942 servers right now. so I mean, I don't think it needs it at all. You know. And I think the industry has shown us that no matter how big video games get, like there is only room for a couple of big players at the top, multiplayer. Like that's kind of sad. It's sad to me because I want to play these other games, but like no one's playing them. Like I think I said like two podcasts ago, I was talking about Max Payne 3 and how much I love the multiplayer, and I really, really, really do. But like every time I try to go on, there's like 200 people on at all, and there's 5 billion, like all of China and India are on Call of Duty at the same time. So what am I supposed to do? You know, like there's I don't know. I don't know what the remedy is for that, but that's the way it is. So they should just stop trying to beat those other games at what they already do best, you know.
Do you think part of it is too, it's just there are so many games out, and I know I touched on this previously, but you know, at least for me, I feel like I can't keep up with all these games that come out just one after another. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like there is a shelf life for those multiplayer games, except for Call of Duty and Battlefield. Like I don't know what it is, but you know, there's so many games. They just come out one after another. Even coming up this November, it's back-to-back Halo and Call of Duty.
I don't know.
You know?
It's crazy.
I don't know.
It's crazy. And everyone is going to buy those two games. Everyone
I am.
is going to buy those two games, and everyone's going to be on those two games and nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, if you are anything else that has multiplayer in it, forget it. Forget it. No one's going to be playing you for, like, 5 months, you know? So
Which it is. It's sad.
Yeah, but like, what is the remedy to that? So, like, what could another game do? You know what I mean? I don't know, Greg.
Well, I don't know about that. I think it would have to be just focus on single player, and that's kind of I wanted to go back to a point you were saying about buying like multiplayer only titles and just having those update. You know, for me personally, I think it's those games that do have the campaigns that are the most memorable for me. Because even Call of Duty, I've only gone through Black Ops campaign, I'd say maybe 3 times.
Oh my goodness.
Good lord.
Yeah, like one regular, one veteran run, and then recently I just went through it. But let me tell you, the campaign in Call of Duty 4... was spectacular.
Yeah.
I like that one.
And just thinking back on it, it was amazing. Or I don't know how historically accurate it was, but the campaign of Call of Duty 2.
Not at all. But also awesome.
But I mean, just to kind of at least have some sort of idea of what those soldiers were going through in World War II, it's like, it was really, it impacted me a lot. And I really enjoyed that stuff. And, I guess I think about single-player games the most that really stick with me and the games that I go back to. So, it's a shame that we see publishers like 2K, shoehorning. Whoops, Freudian slip there. Shoehorning multiplayer into all these games, because to me, it's really kind of ruining the experience. And one upcoming game that I'm really hesitant about in that sense is Dead Space 3.
Right.
Because that has co-op.
Right.
And, that just reminds me of Resident Evil 5, and how that had co-op, and it was terrible. At least, like, mechanically it was a great game.
Right.
But it's just...
It's not Resident Evil
not
anymore.
Resident Evil, right. So, I guess my suggestion would be forget about multiplayer, because as you all have said, there's only room for a couple at the top.
Right, and I don't know, have they said what Dead Space 3 is going to be when you're not playing co-op? Like, is there an AI guy always with you if it's not being controlled by someone, or is it single player but someone can jump in? Do you know what I'm saying?
To be honest, I don't know. I haven't been following it too much, because I don't even know if I'm going to get it, but...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Well, I mean, this kind of leads into another interesting discussion. Like, Resident Evil, I think we can agree, was kind of ruined by multiplayer because it's not scary anymore when you're a couple, like, buff, like, military people, like, blowing away zombies that aren't really scary because they're out in, like, a city in daylight, and that's not that scary. You know what I mean? Dead Space 3 looks like it's not going to be scary because it's going to be two buff dudes, like, blowing away necromorphs, you know, in over-the-top Gears of War manner, which is not that scary. It's more action. So, are horror games, like, ruined by multiplayer? Or can there be a really effective horror multiplayer game?
Well, I mean,
Left 4 Dead. I thought that one was... I mean, I haven't played much of Left 4 Dead, but one of my friends plays a lot of it. And when you do a co-op on that one, I mean, it's dark, it's foggy.
Right.
You've got the witches that
right.
come after you. Or
right.
What's the one that, like, shoots something at you that pulls you away?
The smoker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got those, and I thought... I mean, I haven't played that one much, but I felt like that one had a really good multiplayer that was very kind of scary, because
right.
you never know when something's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, I think about Resident Evil 0. I don't know if you ever played that.
Sure, yeah.
And that had 2 people in it, but
yeah.
it was only single player. Like, imagine a game like that. Co-op.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you had to split up as much as you did.
Yeah, if you had to split up, that's scary, yeah.
You know, you could communicate with your partner, obviously, but, like, that would be scary, and that would really increase the intensity. I do think, you know, Left 4 Dead does have its moments.
I think what works... I think you're onto something there, because I think what really works for me in Left 4 Dead, as far as the horror aspect, are... whenever I am separated from the group that is horrifying. Like, you have to stay with each other because the specials all have something they can do to mess you up if you get away from the group. Or a whole horde of them coming after you without the team helping you out. That's what's scary about it.
Because that game is structured so that it's you need teamwork
right,
in
exactly,
order to survive. So, you know, Left 4 Dead... I couldn't really imagine Left 4 Dead solo play. I mean, well... You can, but...
Doesn't work that well, let me tell you.
It's terrifying. If you play that one mutation, it's really scary.
It's really scary, yeah.
But I like the teamwork on that game. I think it depends on the game. Like, how do you want it to be? Is it teamwork, or is it, you know, you're by yourself?
Right.
The tricky thing with horror is to figure out how you can empower the player without making them feel comfortable.
Right.
You know, because I think especially with Dead Space 2, and even a little bit with 1, but Dead Space 2 and what looks to be Dead Space 3, just, like, giving the player so much firepower that you can just blow these monsters away. Like, they get the survival part down where, you know, you have to take your ammo and hoard it.
Right.
But they don't get the horror part down. It's like, I'm not going to be scared of a monster when I have a machine gun in my hand. You know, like, it's not going to happen. So...
Right. Unless the monster is a machine gun stealing monster. That would be scary.
Yeah.
Bulletproof vest.
Right. Like, the last... You ever play Wolfenstein?
Yes.
Like Machine Gun Hitler at the end?
Yes,
That's
Machine Gun Hitler.
Machine Gun Hitler is pretty scary. Because he's Hitler with machine guns.
It's true.
That's actually horrifying. So now is the time on Monday MOOcast where we rat on Japan. So we'll call this segment What's With You, Japan? And in this week, we examine Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. No, I didn't say that wrong. It's not Ground Zero. It's Ground Zeroes. That's the name of the new game that they just showed. They just showed about 11 minutes of gameplay from PAX the other day of the new Metal Gear Solid. I will say this. It looks effing sweet. Like, it looks so good that everyone assumed they were running on next-gen machines, and they actually had to come out and say, no, it's actually a PS3 build So that's exactly what it'll look like on PS3 and Xbox 360. But it looks ridiculous. So search the YouTubes, folks, and find this 10-minute vid of Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, because it looks and sounds awesome. I'll give it that. Okay, but aside from that, what is up with Metal Gear Solid and all of Japan? They are weird. Okay? Like, isn't Snake dead, or, like, supposedly dead, or isn't he 200,000 years old? Like, what's going on? Greg, discuss.
I mean, I've never been huge in the Metal Gear Solid series.
Doesn't make any sense.
I played a decent amount of the remake of the first one, Twin Snakes, and I played the entirety of the second one. Yeah, from my understanding of the series, like, he is just aging rapidly, and at the end of 4, spoiler alert, don't listen for the next, like, 15 seconds, he, like, just kind of retires. Like,
right.
He's not dead, but he's on his way.
Right, and they make it pretty obvious that he's, like, about to die.
And so, like, I understand, you know, wanting to kind of end the series and maybe move on to something else. I really actually approve of that. I think that's really great.
Yeah.
But it's just, this series in particular, now it's like, oh, well, let's make this spin-off, or, oh, let's go back and fill this piece of the timeline in. Let's go back and fill this piece. Like,
right.
At some point, I don't care anymore because the overall story's done.
Right.
So, I don't care about prequels. It's like with Gears of War, you know, they're making that one prequel. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. You've told the whole story of the entire war and everything that happens after it. Like, come on, people. Like,
right.
Do something new.
Right, even Halo Reach, you know, I love the multiplayer, and the campaign was good, but when I saw that announcement trailer, I rolled my eyes, because it's like, I already know what happens. I
right.
don't. So,
right.
But that's just my thoughts.
You had Halo 4. Like, wasn't it supposed to end with 3?
You would think so.
I mean, like, from what they're saying is, like, that story arc wrapped up with 3. So now this is the start of a new trilogy.
Oh.
Right,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now that brings up another interesting discussion, though. Like, when have characters gone on too long? Like, when would it be justified to, like, completely just let them go, do something else in the world but without them? And do you think that anyone would actually buy it? Like, for instance, we were talking about Red Dead Redemption earlier in the show. Like, if they, obviously, spoiler alert, you die in Red Dead Redemption. Like, you're the main character.
So sad.
Oh. One we're going to have just a recap of our best game endings ever, because, like, that game ending, it's so, okay. All right, I'm back. Okay, so the main character dies. Like, what if they came out with Red Dead Redemption 2 as, like, a launch title for the next Xbox, but obviously it's not going to have Marston in it? Or would it?
Yeah.
Like, so, would you guys buy it, or is that so tied up with that character that you actually wouldn't want to support the series anymore if it was someone new?
I mean, here's my thing with Red Dead. Like, that character in that world was just so amazing, and, like, that is a character that I would like to see more of.
Like, his past.
Right, you know, like, what I thought would have been a great DLC, which Rockstar never did, was, you know, I really loved Undead Nightmare and just kind of the expansion of him as a character and, like, his family life and all that.
Right.
I would have loved to see a prequel to the game that showed him in
the gang?
The gang.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
And see, like, how he met his wife and just, like, the shenanigans that they all did.
Shenanigans? If by shenanigans you mean robbing trains and killing people.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But, you know, I think for someone like Snake, while there was a point where you did want to see more, and you did want to learn more about him and his world,
right.
At this point, it's done. Like, there's nothing more that you can do. And while Marston is dead, in this case, I wouldn't mind seeing a prequel to get a little more backstory on him.
I agree.
But if you ever did anything more than that, then it would be too much.
Right.
I think.
Right.
Thoughts?
No, I agree. I mean, if they do go that route with Red Dead, I think that'd be cool. But then, you know, they're likely to keep going. Think of, like, what's his name? Jack. Oh, so
Jack
obnoxious.
Marston.
Yeah. You know, like, oh, what does he do after his dad's death? Blah blah blah.
Dear Rockstar, you need a new voice actor.
Oh,
for
you're
Jack
so
Marston.
annoying.
That's sad. Yeah.
You know, I feel like in that case they really could keep going.
Oh, I hope they make another Red Dead now that I'm talking about it.
Oh, me too. I'd buy it. I absolutely loved the first one. Loved it.
I would totally buy it. I'm such a sucker. But like, yeah, it brings up an interesting discussion about like Halo 2. Like, I don't know how much more. I mean, like, obviously, I've got the special edition pre-ordered. Like, I'm getting Halo 4. Like, I'm soaking my, like, they've got my money. Like, don't worry about it. I'm going to keep buying them, so don't worry. But I don't know. Like, I don't know how much more of Master Chief I really want in my life. Like, he's such an awesome character, but like, I would really like to see more things happen in that world, but without him. I would really like to play a game when I'm like a normal Marine in that world, not Master Chief. So like, I'm not superhuman. Like, the different gameplay elements of that would be awesome to me. Like, because the Covenant
cool.
are freaky. Like, if you are not Master Chief, like they are actually very, very strong and horrifying. Like, how would that play out, like, as a squad shooter? Because it would take more than one person to take them down if you were normal people, you know?
So you'd like to see another ODST then?
Right, but not ODST, because he was even, like, halfway superpowered, you know what I mean? Like,
He was a wuss, are you kidding me?
Well, he's a wuss compared to Master Chief, but, like, he was still awesome because he was an ODST. So, like, what? I guess I wish they would have made ODST as, like, a Left 4 Dead. Like, if you're with your squad the whole time taking down Covenant, like, I'd be like, yeah.
That's an interesting approach.
So like firefight.
Yes, but like with an actual story, like with the squad all the time,
Okay.
like a special forces team, but like in that world.
Okay.
I would dig that.
So like kind of like a Republic Commando then.
Yes, which is also an awesome game.
Yeah.
because
Which
it does exactly
needs a
what we're talking
sequel.
about. Which because it does exactly what we're talking about. It takes an established world, but it gives you another part of it. And that's what I think the game developers should do when it gets to the point where it's getting a little stale. Like when I saw the first like teaser image from this Metal Gear Solid thing, it didn't show Snake's face. It just showed these guys in like special forces stuff with like cool helmets and stuff on. And I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna do what I've always wanted to do. They're gonna show that world like with all these nano machines and stuff. They're gonna go into that. But they're going to show the military side of it with the normal guys. I'm like, oh my god, it's going to be awesome! But then when it comes out with the weird trailer that they showed at PAX, like he like rips off the thing and he's like as old as dirt, and he's like, I kept you waiting, didn't I? And like everyone at PAX is like, yay! And I'm like, no, because I don't want any more with Snake in it. Like I want more of that world. I just don't need any more with him. So I wish that they would do that. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents. Oh, no, I had something else to say, too. Have you guys played Walking Dead?
No.
All of you out there that like story in games, who cares if you're a zombie fan? It helps, but Walking Dead series by Telltale Games is the best storytelling I have seen in games in 10 years. It is fantastic. Actually, spoiler alert, it almost made me cry. Like, for realsies, cry. And I, like, don't cry at video games. So, like... I'm telling you, it's awesome. But, how can I say this without massive spoiler? Okay, I won't say any names or anything, but I will say one thing about the game series. In the middle of the 3rd episode, a main person just bites it. Like, just dies out of nowhere. And I was like, what? Because they had built this character up, like, so much. But, like, that was one of the best things I've seen in the game. Nothing could have hooked me more to get the next 2 episodes than what happened in episode 3. Because, like, they weren't afraid to just say, like, you remember that character you thought was completely main? Nope, no more. Like, so,
It
it's...
reminds me of Game of Thrones.
Oh, so yeah, like that. And it kind of did the same thing to me. I was like, wow, super hooked. So I wish that games had more guts to do that. Like, I realize it's a big industry. They want to make money. They don't want to alienate you. So they're not going to, like, go kill Master Chief. But
what if they did?
What if they did?
I mean, you think about something like Final Fantasy VII. They have the guts to do that with some of their characters.
Guts.
And, even Final Fantasy X, at the end of that. So it's like, those kind of sacrificial deaths, I guess, or meaningful deaths, really make a lasting impression on a gamer. And it's sad that we don't see that happening as much.
Right.
So, again, like, Snake should not be in another game. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's... move on.
I mean, even Kojima said that he wanted him gone. Like, he wanted that to be gone. But then, obviously, Konami's like, yeah, but it's $1 billion more if we keep him in. So that's sad. That's sad. And now we have, like, Final Fantasy, 13-3 or whatever it is?
Oh, God. Okay. So, I saw this week, a couple days ago. I have not played Final Fantasy 13.
Me neither.
I hear it is pretty bad
Yeah.
up until, like, maybe 20, 25 hours into the game.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, then it gets really good. I'm like, well, yeah, but those 20, 25 hours, you know.
That's a whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole
And
day of
so
suck.
they came out with the sequel to it, you know, like Final Fantasy X-2 style, so it's Final Fantasy 13-2. And I guess that sucked. Like, I guess the combat and some of the mechanics were a bit better, but story-wise, they didn't follow. The main character is Lightning, I think.
Yeah.
Is her name? She wasn't really in the game at all. And this week, Square Enix announced... Enix?
Yeah, Enix.
Enix.
I think.
Whatever. Square Enix announced Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13. So that's going to be the trilogy, I guess, of Final Fantasy 13 games. And, I don't know, for me that's just kind of sad. Like, I mean, I loved Final Fantasy X, and it had a really sad ending.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was happy, but it was also sad. It was bittersweet.
Right.
You know, in Final Fantasy X-2, I played a little bit of it. I didn't really care for it. I think it just kind of didn't do justice to the original kind of thing. And, you know, I don't know how 13 ended, but just this stretching it out into a trilogy kind of thing, I don't know. That just kind of sucks to me.
It seems like money grabbing.
It is money grabbing. I mean, I think back to the older games and how those came on multiple discs, and you can be playing for days, you know. And now it's like, well, where can we find a cutoff point so we can start developing DLC?
Right.
I mean, even Lost Odyssey for the Xbox 360 was great. I loved it. It was 4 discs. Like, it was a lot of stuff.
It's a big
to
game,
do.
yeah.
And, you know, now it's, we're going to have a third Final Fantasy 13, so then how many years down the road are we going to have the HD re-release?
Oh,
Right.
yep.
HD re-release, I should say. I guess
H4K re-release.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I don't know. I would prefer to see them move on to something new.
Yeah.
But then, unfortunately, as we talked about in a previous episode, then you have Ubisoft whining about, well, we can't release new IPs at the end of a console cycle because no one will buy them.
I think that's a cop-out. That's a total
It
cop-out.
absolutely is.
I mean, maybe all the lemmings who only want to see sequels will not buy it, but like the rest of us will support it. And like, how much money do you need, Ubisoft? Like, you'll still get millions.
You're going to make $1 gazillion on Assassin's Creed 3.
Right.
Like, you can afford to make a new IP.
Right. And eventually, like, they think that this won't happen again, you know, but it will happen again. There will be another video game crash if everything is so stale. Like, eventually people will get worn out and be like, you know what, I really don't want to do the same thing again and pay you all my hard-earned money again, so I'll just keep playing the old one because it's the same thing.
Right.
Like, you know, and they gotta watch out, video game developers. You can't have too many sequels. All right, so I think that we will wrap it up for this week, but we do have some exciting things on the horizon. We want to make everything, you know, easy to find us, easy to like us, easy to listen to us, and all that. And part of that is we now have we're going to have a website that's going to be updated. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, well, it's MondayMOOcast.com. Easy to remember, easy to find. Yeah, it's a quick resource. We have links to it's a link to our Facebook page.
Right.
All of our YouTube videos.